Hey everyone, welcome to Tech Production Talks. I'm your host, Kevin Perea, and today we'll talk about the New York City Electroacoustic Improvisation Summit. It's an annual concert series featuring music by artists focused on the integration of music improvisation and real-time interactive computer systems. Joining us today is the show's organizer, frequent performer, and professor here at City Tech, Adam Wilson. Welcome to the show, Professor.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on Tech Production Talks.
Of course. And right off the bat, what is electroacoustic improvisation?
So the first word, two parts, electro and acoustic. Typically what that means in the context of the show is that there's someone playing a conventional instrument, guitar, cello, piano, something like that. And there's an electronic component that's being used simultaneously, either a computer system or a stack of analog electronics. And those electronics are often processing what the human performer is playing. Or they're reacting in some way and coming up with their own music. Often performers will write their own software or devise their own systems to interact with.
Right. Okay. And so the NYC EIS will actually happen here at the Voorhees Theater on April 29th. Here's some highlights from the previous performances. So this is probably something that the general public isn't really used to. So how did you end up learning how to make this type of music?
Well, I think there are lots of different paths. There are lots of different entry points to this kind of music. And just going back to your original question, I wanted to add something about the improvisation component. So, improvisation generally means somebody making something up on the spot. And often it's the performers who are playing conventional instruments that are making something up. But sometimes it's the computers themselves. Sometimes performers will program their computers to react to them. There's some element of randomness. And the computers have some agency to devise new sounds in reaction to the performers playing. For me, I started out very early improvising on the guitar, playing mostly in the rock, jazz, and blues idioms. Later on, I studied classical composition, and I started to get interested in formalized music in addition to music that involves improvisation. And formalized music is sort of where you compose the music in such a way that all the elements are really rigorously structured. So I had two different interests there. As computer systems became more advanced, microprocessors got faster and faster, I realized I could do some things. I could actually make software realizations of my compositional methods, and I could actually improvise and have the computer develop structure based on what I was improvising in real time. That's how I got into it, and that's just sort of one paradigm in the umbrella of electroacoustic improvisation. There are lots of other ways to engage with that genre of music.
And so you mentioned rock, blues, and jazz. So was there any artist, musician, or band that influenced you, and how have you been able to incorporate that into electroacoustic improvisation?
Well, I'll mention one name, somebody who's probably relevant to a lot of the performers who have appeared on the show over the years, and that's George Lewis. He's currently a professor at Columbia. He's a trombone player, composer, improviser, very well known in this scene. And back in, I believe it was the 90s, he was at University of California, San Diego, and he worked with people in the computer science department there to develop a software system for improvisation. And so, he developed this program called Voyager that would actually interact with him while he played the trombone, and it could respond to him in various different ways, sort of underpinning what he was playing or even opposing what he was playing and doing something completely different.
Right, that's great, yeah. And so how did this show come to City Tech? How did it make its way here?
Well, the show was co-founded by myself and Kevin Patton. We got hired about the same time in 2013. Kevin's now at George Washington University. And he still works on the show, still performs on the show. He'll be performing on this one on Friday. And both of us came from a music background. Both of us were doing things with improvisation and electronics. Kevin's a fantastic guitarist and composer and music technologist. And we realized that we had a real opportunity here at City Tech because we have a program filled with students who are studying technical production. They're studying the elements of live show production, right? Lighting, sound, video, et cetera, et cetera. We have this wonderful hall, Voorhees Hall, which is our department's lab. So we realized we could have something that benefited the students. We could develop a show that the students could work on, and at the same time, we could sort of give something back to the community of musicians, improvisers, and music tech folks who kind of make up this very niche genre of electronic music. People donate their time, they donate venues, they donate money to keep the scene going, and we felt this would be a way to give back and contribute a little bit.
Yeah, right. And so, obviously for a show like this, you need a lot of hands and a lot of minds come together to run it. So who else is involved in organizing and in planning this show?
So overall, I feel like I occupy a pretty minimal role in the show. The meat and potatoes of the show is actually the technological aspect, configuring the sound system, setting up video systems, setting up streaming video in this case, doing lighting. And we have some fantastic professors and students in the department who are taking care of all of those aspects. And they work for many days in advance of the show to prepare all of those things. And they do a fantastic job every year running the show.
Right, great, that's great. And is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yes, it's a little too late probably to get tickets to the live show, but we are streaming. If you want access to the link, you can go to www.eis.nyc, and you'll find the YouTube streaming link there. Also, if you like the show, there will be a link for donations that will be going up later today or early tomorrow. Again, this is a volunteer effort by all parties concerned. This venue is donated by the college, and we often have equipment that breaks down, needs replacing, so your help is appreciated.
Right, definitely check that out, guys. And thank you, Professor Wilson, for your time. We really appreciate you coming out to talk to the video crew and everybody watching.
Thank you.
For everybody watching, that's it for this semester. Join us for fall 2022 for even more tech production talks. I'm your host, Kevin Perea, and I'll see you guys around.